Hi, I'm Keith Moses, and I'm going to give you a demo about making a casserole dish. And so basically there are three parts to this casserole dish. We have our base, we have our lid, and then after I trimmed the lid, I centered a little ball of clay and made the handle. This is probably one of the simplest forms you can make. You can add handles to it, you can make it a two-piece that you ovalize and attach. But for a basic do-all sort of casserole dish, soup tureen, this is about as simple as it gets. Okay, to start with, we have about 2 pounds for the lid and about 3.5 pounds for the basin for this pot. And it's going to be a little larger because it's wet, but it'll be about that size when it's done. And I'm just going to center it to start with. Now I'll open it up, and it's going to be opened. This particular casserole is rounded like a bowl. So when I open it up, it's going to have the curvature of a bowl on the bottom. Maybe not as sharp as that, but a little bit of camber on the bottom. So we've got our depth here. My thumb is hooking it on the outside, and I'm stabilizing my work by providing side pressure and top pressure with the right hand. And we're bringing it up, and we're going to leave this rim a little bit thick so that we can split it to make a little channel for the casserole lid. Very similar to the teapot. So before I get it up wide, while I still have this ability to transfer that pressure down into it, I'm going to split the rim on it. And again, there's multiple ways. I can use my thumb, I can use a tool like this, or a tool like that. I'm going to use my thumb for this one. A little bit of slip there. And I'm just using the side of my thumbnail to come in and open that up. And I'll soften that edge so it's not that sharp. And there it is. That's the channel for holding the lid. Now we'll go a little larger and add some volume to it. Undercut, pulling it. It's a pretty different view with this, I imagine, for learning. So now we have our volume. I'm going to go ahead and make this surface a little more hospitable to food, just taking those throw lines off, inside with a rib. Of course, food doesn't care about the throw lines, it's mostly us cleaning it up. And then glazing. Leave a little feature in there. And now I'll come in and clean this. Put a nice edge so I can wipe the slip off of that, or the glaze off of that. Pour the food later on. And compress the bead. Look at my profile. Put a little bevel. And part of when I make a casserole like this, having that undercut and that curve and that lip coming back out, is what I call like the oven mitt feature. So I can grab it from any direction and hold it with that. And so that's why that little curve is essential for it. So we're going to accentuate that a little bit. So we've got two ways we can hold it, from below and from the rim. I think we're about done with this. We're going to finish this so we don't have to trim the top part. Nice and smooth. And we'll cut the bottom, and slip. Okay, for the lid, we just have one measurement. We have this whitest area right across here, and we're going to trim it so it's got a nice rounded edge to fit that. And so we'll take our calipers and we're just going to measure that. That's it. We'll check it just in case it overlies two different directions, and we're ready to go. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and open up the lid, and this is it's somewhere between a plate and a bowl, and so it's pretty shallow, but it has a definite camber and curvature to it. If we go totally flat and we put this on here, that's not a very strong surface. Flat areas tend to crack, get shear strength from their curve, and so if we have a curved area for this lid, we hit it with a spoon, we set it on a counter, we're heating it, cooling it down rapidly. That curve has a place for it to flex and go to. Flat things don't have that, and so the shear strength is pretty. When you twist it or hit it, it's gonna break. So we're centered. Let's open it up. And you notice when I open things up, I never really open just a hole down. I open kind of an oblique, wide angle hole, not a narrow hole. That way it doesn't get out of center. I'm going to pinch it, and as I pinch it, I'm going to put a little bit of side compression with the sponge across the top and across the side, undercutting it with my left-hand thumb, and I just pinch it out. I think we have a little too much. We can check it, but it looks like we got too much, so I'm going to cut some of that off. Looks like it's too little, but we're going to lay this lid down a little bit flat, and as we lay it down, it'll expand into that shape. But before we do that, we'll come in here, clean up the bevel, and here we go, laying it down. Now if you look at this lid, and this one, it's got a curve, but then it goes a little bit flat towards the outside edge, and you can kind of see that in profile here. So I'm going to put just that little bit of flat edge right there, and then run the curve. Okay, finishing the edges on this, paper towel, fingers. I'm going to just get it wet and then use the webbing on my fingers to come in and soften that edge.